Am I wrong for making all the women in my family leave my wedding after they showed up wearing white? I, 33 male, have a large family, mostly aunts and female cousins aside from the mom, stepmom, stepsister, and grandmother. I don't know how to say this, but all those women I mentioned above are into teasing and joking. They formed a unit which I admit is kind of toxic, and they tease and roast every new woman that enters the family by marriage by setting up tests to see if they deserve to be part of the family, or roast their looks and styles to the point of breaking confidence and self-esteem down. Then, after a few months of teasing, they announced that they finally welcomed them into the family. The newest member would join in on the teasing too. When I first introduced my then girlfriend, now wife, I made it clear that I didn't want any of the women in the unit to come at her or harass her, not even with a single word. They went behind my back and roasted her looks and job, and I discovered they've been doing it on Facebook. I made them apologize one by one after they gave the "we're just testing the water to see if she's capable to be part of the family" excuse. They didn't want to apologize, but once I said I wouldn't invite any of the unit unless they apologized, including my mom, everyone immediately apologized and brought gifts for my wife. My wedding was 2 weeks ago. There was talk about the woman in the family wanting to pull a prank on my wife by wearing white and called it the ultimate test to see how my wife would react. My brother warned me, so I announced that if any one of them showed up in white, I'd have them kicked out, including my mom. They said this wasn't true and they'd never do such a thing. But they showed up to my wedding day one by one wearing white dresses, and each and every one of them was told to leave after they tried giving excuses by either making scenes or getting the men involved. The senior women of the unit, who are my mom and aunts, also showed up in white but refused to leave. I threatened to take harsher action, and my mom was pissed, telling me to step aside, but I didn't let her in. I had her leave while the men in my family were watching stunned. Dad was on my side and supported me a lot. My wife was hurt beyond measure, but the women in the family were pissed. My cousin blasted me on social media later, saying I excluded all the women from the wedding because my wife was so insecure she couldn't handle another woman's presence at her wedding. I felt absolutely awful because my wedding was being interrupted by them making scenes. I had an argument with them, and my mom berated me, saying it was supposed to be a prank, but I said they were taking it too far. My mom said I took it too far by kicking them out because they were trying to get a reaction from my wife to see if she was one of those bridezillas and were going to change as soon as the prank was over. But I ruined my own wedding, an entire wedding, by reacting so aggressively. I stopped talking after she said I had to bring my wife and apologize. I haven't seen a lot of them in 2 weeks, and they've excluded me from everything. So, was I wrong for how I handled the situation?
Am I the asshole for telling my niece the family secret? I, 35 female, had 2 older sisters growing up, Jane and Kim. Kim got sick and died, but not before giving birth to my niece, Laura, 18 female. It had been a year after Kim's passing when Jane and Laura's dad, Tom, 42 male, confessed to dating and were now engaged. Everyone was surprised, but no one was vocally disgusted as me. I accused them of cheating. Jane and Tom explained that this wasn't something they had planned, but there was no cheating, and knew that Kim would want them to be happy. Convenient since she's, dead. I did not attend the wedding and was upset at how everyone else was so accepting of the relationship. But the thing that hurt me the most was how Jane and Tom intended to completely erase Kim from Laura's life. She was barely 2 when Kim died, and they decided it would be better if Laura thought Jane was her mother, in every sense of the word, after the adoption was finalized. Tom got rid of any items that would suggest he and Kim were ever in a relationship and made his family swear to never tell Laura the truth. Jane expected everyone on our side of the family to do the same, but I refused, and as such, I was denied access to Laura. It hurt, but when I thought about all those times Kim cried knowing that she wouldn't live long enough to see Laura grow up, there was just no way I could honor the lie. They even had Laura's name legally changed to something that Jane liked, as Kim picked out Laura's first name. I distanced myself from my family over time over this, but my parents always tried to get us to reconcile, citing that they didn't like this arrangement either, but accepting it was better than not being a part of Laura's life at all. I just couldn't do it. Growing up, Laura had known of me, but we never really interacted. Apparently, she's interested in studying a field that I work in and reached out to me through social media. The last time I saw her in person, she was 7, and I started to tear up at how much she looked like Kim. We would talk from time to time, and eventually Laura asked why I wasn't around. I tried to keep it vague, but Laura knew that there was more to the story, as I didn't seem like the person I was described to be. If we had been talking through DMs like before, I probably wouldn't have done it, but we were video chatting, and something about looking directly into her eyes broke me, and I confessed to everything. Before Kim died, she and I made a series of videos for Laura to watch at her big moments, and I told her that if she ever wanted to watch any of them, I'd send them. Laura asked me to send some, and then I heard nothing from her for days. Recently, I got a call from an enraged Jane and Tom, berating me for ruining their family. After Laura watched some of the videos, she confronted my parents, who confirmed everything. Laura has moved out and currently not speaking to anyone, and no one knows where she is right now. Everyone is angry at me. Am I the asshole?
My boyfriend has a longtime female friend who's clearly into him and I don't know what to do. This is gonna sound like the typical insecure girlfriend, but I promise it's not like that. My boyfriend and I have been together for over 6 months and he's really great. He has a friend that he's had for years who is a girl. Normally, I'm not the type to be all like, you're not allowed to hang out with a single girl alone, but I'm considering telling my boyfriend that he's not allowed to hang out with this girl alone. This girl is obviously so into him and she definitely wants me to know she's coming for him. She keeps saying stuff like, you don't know him like I do yet. Or, we used to go to that place together all the time long before you guys started dating. She also had cute pet names for him and I didn't like it, and as soon as I heard it, I told my boyfriend I didn't like it and he made her stop. Oh my gosh, Josh, remember when we went on a hike, just the two of us? That was the best day. I asked her straight up if she was into him and her response pissed me off. She was like, I know it's intimidating how close he and I are, but don't worry, you're the girlfriend, I'm just a friend, right? With a smug smile on her face. I got so mad, but I couldn't talk to my boyfriend about it. I want to tell him to cut her out of his life so bad, but I don't know if I can do that. My boyfriend's dad passed away 2 years ago with a heart condition. He told me that his dad was his best friend growing up, so it hit him really hard. That's why he says she's like a sister to him. That's why I don't know what to do. I already asked him to set boundaries, like she can't text late at night or come over to his place unannounced all the time and not interrupting our alone time. He was the only family my boyfriend had. Apparently, this girl really helped him get through it. She apparently was there for him throughout the whole thing. My boyfriend doesn't realize that she's into him, and I kind of don't blame him on that because all of her flirts are subtle enough that he doesn't realize, but enough to get me riled up. I know my boyfriend isn't into her at all and he's completely friend-zoned her, but it's still so frustrating. I hate to admit it, but she's so good at getting under my skin and I don't know what to do. I really need some advice.
I was always known as the quiet girl, but one day I wore a short summer dress to school and I became the target of the mean girls. Yikes, Laura. What are you wearing today? This isn't a nightclub. Yes, and you don't have the figure for it. Burn it, or give it to me. I felt like an idiot. So the next day I wore regular clothes again. But it didn't matter because the mean girls continued to tease me. Sana was the worst of them and said, poor you. How does it feel to be 16 years old and still not have a boyfriend? I know it's not your fault that guys don't find you attractive, but it's still sad, isn't it? And it got worse. In Spanish, we had to describe one of our classmates and Sana chose me. She said, no tiene estilo, no tiene amigos, y nunca va a encontrar un novio. I didn't understand a word, but everyone died laughing. I felt like such a loser. But then I got a call. It was Josh, my best friend from primary school. Josh had moved away in 3rd grade to become a Disney child actor. Now he was a singer and a B-list celebrity. I told him, wow, I can't believe you remember me. Are you kidding? I still see you as my best friend. Really? You want to be friends with me? What? Of course. But you sound kinda depressed. Let me pick you up from school tomorrow. I knew this wasn't a date because Josh was clearly out of my league, but I still had a crush on him. And he actually came into my class yelling, sorry for the interruption, I'm just looking for my bestie Laura. There she is. All the girls freaked out. They had never seen a celebrity before, and they were all crushing on him. Meanwhile, I think Josh wanted to make me feel special. He picked me up in his arms and carried me out of the classroom. It was crazy. The next day in school, everyone was talking about it. Even Sana. She said, you're so lucky, Laura. How do you know him? He's my best friend. What's the big deal? Wow. Can you get me on a date with him? Sure, but why would I? Oh, come on. Pretty please. No. You're gonna have to do a lot better than that. Fine. Tell me what you want and I'll do it. Oh, I had my ideas. First, I took her to the cafeteria, put my feet on her lap and said, give me a foot massage, you slave. You must be kidding. Nope, start rubbing. Or no date with Josh. God. Okay. People were laughing when they saw Sana being my servant. But afterward, I called Josh on WhatsApp and said, hey, my classmate wants to know if you would consider going on a date with her. Of course, he was in on my plan. Beforehand, I had instructed him to act like Sana was the girl of his dreams. That's why he said, oh wow, she's gorgeous. I would love to go out with her. Now Sana believed that Josh was really into him. So I hung up and said, okay, Sana, I got 2 more challenges for you before I set you up on your date. First, you shall ask during class if you can go poo. No way! I would be teased for that the rest of high school. Good, then you will know how you made me feel the last couple of years. But Sana knew what she wanted and followed through. Sorry, Miss Davis. Can I go to the bathroom? I really have to poo. Everyone laughed like crazy. What she didn't know was I put some Nutella on her chair. Once she stood up, I screamed, "Oh my god, look at her pants! She already pooed herself!" Sana was so embarrassed she started crying, and I almost felt bad for her. Later she said, "Why did you do that?" "Because it was fun, and you've treated me worse before." Well, your last challenge is to fart in class and say, "Oh my god, what's wrong with my body?" I'm a girl. I can't fart on demand. Go eat some beans. I know you can do it, and it's gotta be real loud or it doesn't count. This was gonna be epic. It would destroy her reputation for good. Oh my god, what's wrong with my body? The room exploded in laughter, and even her friends called her a disgusting pig. Afterward, I told her, "Okay, good job. I'll set your date with Josh for this weekend." Oh, and he wants me to be there too. When she showed up, we were already there. Wow. Hi, Josh. Nice to meet you. I'm Sana. Geez. You really looked better on camera. What? I'm sorry. It's just that you aren't as pretty as I thought. Laura, on the other hand. Wow. You look like $1,000,000 today. He leaned over and kissed me. Huh? That can't be. Why would you like her more than me? I guess I'm just not into girls who rip farts during class. Sana, sounds like he thinks you're a loser. Short date. Oh well. Sana's eyes looked dead inside, like her whole world had been crushed. All she could respond was, "You're gonna regret this." And I was so happy. I mean, I knew Josh was only acting. Unfortunately, he wasn't actually into me. But he proved himself a true friend. Thank you so much, Josh. But can I ask you for one more favor? Can I kiss you for 5 more minutes? You're just too hot to be true. You're crazy, but sure.